What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Bad Diggity Dizzle back with my first 2021 New York Giants 6-round mock draft. I do hope to get a couple more of these in the future. It depends on how time permits. I do love doing mock drafts, but being on vacation, hopefully I can get a couple of these out before the draft on April 29th. And the next mock draft I do plan on having. I didn't do any trades in this mock draft. I do want to do one with at least one trade in it, and I'll do that next time. And then hopefully I can get a third one out there. I appreciate you guys watching. Again, you can always let me know what you think in the comments section. And, let's see how it goes. This is what I got for the New York Giants. So at number 11, I have the Giants taking Rashawn Slater, the tackle out of Northwestern. Now, obviously, the Giants definitely need some offensive line help. I don't think there's any doubt about that. We all know that Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, and the rest of the New York Giants are only going to be as good as the men up front, protecting them and opening holes for them. Rashawn Slater is definitely a need, especially with Kevin Zeitler getting cut. The Giants obviously had to do that to save cap space, to make the moves that they made. So Rashawn Slater would definitely fit right in here. Now, Rashawn Slater, according to a lot of these mock drafts or whatever, he's a fast-rising offensive lineman who can be used at a tackle or guard. He's actually projected to be a better guard than a pure left tackle, but still, again, with Kevin Zeitler not being there, if he can become our right guard or our left guard and they move Will Hernandez over to the right, there's a lot of things that the New York Giants can do if they get Rashawn Slater. And, of course, they've all, the coaching staff has definitely talked about flexibility and the continuity and everything else in order to be able to move players around and do different things. Rashawn Slater would give the Giants a lot of options on the offensive line. But he's got a lot of positive. He bends his knees, blocks without standing pad level. He consistently gets leverage on opponents. Quickly sets up off the snaps, keeps his feet moving, and easily slides off the edge, displaying outstanding lateral blocking range. He stays square, immediately gets his hands up, and correctly places them into opponents. He makes use of outstanding angles with his body positioning and really stands out in pass protection, which obviously the Giants need pass protection in the worst way because Daniel Jones is getting knocked in his ass almost every time that he goes back to pass. So it would be nice to have a guy that is good in pass protection. He also fires out to the second level really good. He keeps his feet moving and he's effective in motion. He blocks with a nasty attitude and he always works to finish off opponents. So obviously that is what you want. You want a guy with a nasty attitude, a guy that can really lay into his opponents and works, all the way until the whistle is blown. He does have some negatives. He lacks dominant strength in his base. He struggles to finish blocks. And he's more of a position blocker than a lineman who drives his opponents off the ball. And we had a guy like that in Justin Pugh that played, right guard for us for a few years here. And he wasn't a bad right guard. He wasn't fantastic, what you would want Rashawn Slater to be. But Pugh was picked 13th, Slater picked 11th, so it's really not that big of a difference from where they were picked. And again, if the Giants do go Rashawn Slater and he ends up being as good as Justin Pugh, I think Giants fans can live with that. Again, Justin Pugh wasn't setting any records on fire and he wasn't making the All-Pro team every year, but he definitely was a very serviceable guard for us. And again, that's something that always reminds me of Justin Pugh was the lack of strength. They did not have big size. Pugh nor Richburg, who played at the center position. But I do believe that Rashawn Slater would be a great pick here. And again, he had a great pro day. I mean, his pro day was fantastic. If he is there at number 11, I can definitely see the New York Giants taking Rashawn Slater. And it would make sense if they do need an offensive line. And I think Rashawn Slater would be very good at the NFL level. And again, these are kids that can be taught. We have, a great coaching staff here. And I have no doubt that Rashawn Slater would be a very good, guard or tackle wherever they decided to put him for the New York Giants. At number 42, I have the New York Giants selecting Kelvin Joseph, the cornerback out of Kentucky. This is where the Giants can get, they did obviously go out. They got Jackson from the Titans. They obviously signed Adoree Jackson to a big deal, 3 years, $39 million. A lot of people think that the New York Giants overpaid for Adoree Jackson. But Kelvin Joseph would certainly, bring flexibility to the secondary, bring depth to the secondary. Because, again, Adoree Jackson played 2 games last season, and he was a bit injured. So, obviously, you would want some depth over there. You would not want it to end up the way it was last year when DeAndre Baker had the whole saga go on, and we ended up with Isaac Yiadom over there at cornerback 2. That's not really what you want. Kelvin Joseph would give them a lot of depth there just in case. He'd be an insurance policy coming out of Kentucky. Definitely it was a very good corner for Kentucky. And it's something that the New York Giants could definitely use. You could never have enough secondary help. We saw that. Like I said, we saw DeAndre Baker go out, have the whole thing there. We saw McKinney get hurt. You can never have enough depth. We struggled over on that side of the field, no doubt, with a cornerback opposite James Bradbury. So I definitely think that Kelvin Joseph would be a really good pickup here for the New York Giants at number 42. He's a really good sized cornerback. He's 5'11", 197 pounds, so he is, not a tall kid, but he's got good size. He's not real thin over there. He's got a large amount of upside. He's very aggressive, and he works to keep the action in front of him. He has very quick hips in transition. He tracks a pass in the air very well. Then gets beat on throw, and he'll get beat on throw and he'll time the pass defenses. He's effective in facing the action, quickly diagnoses plays, and gets off the blocks defending the run, which is very important with the way that we like to blitz secondary, our guys from our secondary on run blitzes or pass blitzes. He also anticipates the action, takes good angles to plays, uses his hands to protect himself. And Kelvin Joseph, again, I just feel like it would be a really good addition to the New York Giants here. And, why not? Again, you can never have enough secondary depth. Definitely a good, positional value here, I believe, at number 42. Some of his negatives, he doesn't show great play speed or burst. He gets a little twisted at times, and sometimes he backpedals a lot, which costs him. Obviously, you can't backpedal in the NFL. You're going to get toasted. But again, I think by far the positives of Kelvin Joseph outweigh the negatives, and this would just be something that the New York Giants could use. Now, there's some guys that want J.C. Horn. There's some guys that want Pat Surtain. There's some guys that want the Giants to take, a cornerback at number 11, which, again, I wouldn't be adverse to, but I do believe that you can get really good value here with Kelvin Joseph, at number 42. He made a huge impact in Kentucky last year, and again, he has great size and ball skills, and I just feel like once he polishes his game, he can be really effective for the Giants. And again, this is what we do here in the New York Giants. They want to teach these kids. I definitely think that with a little polishing, Kelvin Joseph could be a really good cornerback, and I definitely think that Patrick Graham is a guy that could teach him how to be a very effective cornerback. I like Kelvin Joseph here at number 42 out of Kentucky for the Giants. At number 76, I have the New York Giants selecting Moncrief St Brown, wide receiver out of USC, 6'1", 195 pounds. Obviously, the New York Giants could definitely use more depth at wide receiver. The big signing was Kenny Golladay, but we definitely could use another wide receiver. There's no doubt about that. If Moncrief St Brown does fall to the Giants at number 76, I don't see how you pass on him. We've had very good luck with wide receivers at UFC. I always remember Steve Smith. He was one of my favorite Giants receivers. It's too bad that he got hurt. Then, of course, he ended up going. Well, actually, he didn't get hurt. He got hurt his rookie season. It was a big part of our Super Bowl run in 2007. I always liked Steve Smith. But, USC wide receivers. I don't like USC quarterbacks. The wide receivers usually come into the league. They're pretty good. He's an explosive playmaker who made an impact as a true freshman. He has good speed and moving in any direction. He has quick, strong hands. Constantly extends to make the reception away from his frame and easily adjusts to the errant throw, which is definitely good in this team. He tracks the pass in the air, possesses outstanding hand-eye coordination, gets vertical to grab the ball away from opponents. So he high points the ball very well. He quickly gets into breaks. He stays low on exit and shows a lot of natural pass catching skills. He does, however, one of his negatives is lapses in concentration, which always scares me because we all know that Evan Ingram does that sometimes. He lazily gets in and out of routes at times and does little more than get in the ways of blockers. He's not a great blocker. Something that Sterling Shepard is very good at, and something that definitely goes unnoticed and underappreciated by wide receivers is how well they blocked on the field. This is something, though, when you look at a guy like Moncrief St Brown and you weigh his positives against his negatives, the negatives are something that I believe he can be coached out of. I definitely think they can make him into a better blocker, and I definitely think that they can make him concentrate more. Now, I say that, they haven't been able to do it with Evan Ingram, so they could say, Baddog, what are you talking about? They haven't made Evan Ingram concentrate better. So it's a fair point, but I just feel like Moncrief St Brown would be a great pickup here. St. Brown last year in 6 games had 41 receptions for 478 yards. He had 7 touchdowns in 6 games, including a 4-touchdown game against Washington State. Of course, 3 of those games, the last 3 games of the season is when St. Brown had all 7 touchdowns. He did have 2 100-yard games back-to-back to start the season. USC did not play a full season. Obviously, the Pac-12 started a little bit late because of the entire COVID thing. But again, I mean, I know a lot of Giants fans love Moncrief St. Brown, and if he's there at number 76, I don't know how they don't take him. I would love to be able to get St. Brown here at number 76, the wide receiver out of USC. 4th round, number 116 for the Giants. have them taking Trey Sermon. Now, I love Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon transferred to Ohio State last year. He had 116 carries, 870 yards, 4 touchdowns, average 7.5 yards a carry at Ohio State. I don't need to get into all the ifs, ands, and buts and all the analysis with Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon's a big kid. He's 6'1", 215 pounds, and he runs very hard. He played at OU. He played at Oklahoma for 3 years before transferring to Ohio State. I love Trey Sermon at Oklahoma. He was fantastic. The Giants definitely need depth at running back. We signed Devontae Booker. Okay, that's not a huge pickup. We all know Saquon Barkley's been injured the last 2 years, and he's coming off an ACL injury. We don't know how good or how bad he's going to be, how effective he's going to be, and we pray to God that he stays healthy all 16 games. But if he gets hurt and has another serious injury, you don't want to be just left there with Devontae Booker. Trey Sermon is a guy, to me, who there's just no way the Giants pass on in the 4th round. Trey Sermon, he had a tremendous season. He runs through tackles. He has defenders bounce. I'm telling you, man, this kid runs like a beast. This kid, we all liked Wayne Gallman. We all like Wayne Gallman. We got Wayne Gallman in the 4th round from Clemson a few years ago. Trey Sermon in the 4th round would be a perfect fit. He's a guy that can run down by the goal line. Like I said, he finishes his runs off. He runs very tough, very strong. He patiently waits for blocks to develop. He finds running lanes, and he's consistently north and south. Trey Sermon gets the ball and goes forward. He reminds me a lot of Wayne Gallman. They're even similar sizes. I like Trey Sermon at number 4. I do think he's a little bit better than Gallman. I think that his ceiling is a little bit higher than Wayne Gallman. And again, maybe that's just my Oklahoma bias coming through. But I just think in the 4th round, again, we lost Wayne Gallman. I know a lot of Giants fans love Wayne Gallman, myself included. Trey Sermon is a perfect fit and a very close complement to Wayne Gallman. Not as big of a pass catcher as Wayne Gallman. But, you know, he is very tough. He gets a lot of extra yardage. He drags defenders. This is the perfect complement to Saquon Barkley, is a guy like Trey Sermon, because as big as Barkley is, he's not a power runner. He's more of a finesse runner. He's a quick runner. He's a shifty runner, and he makes defenders miss. Trey Sermon is a downhill, pound the rock runner, a perfect complement to Barkley inside the 10-yard line. I really, really like Trey Sermon here. Now, the negatives, he's not the fastest guy. He's not really going to turn a corner. He's not a true perimeter runner. Okay, he is coming off an injury. Obviously, he suffered a big-time collarbone injury in the national title game, so you hope that he's 100%. But again, collarbone a little bit different. It's not like it's a lower body injury. You don't run with your collarbone. You obviously hope he's okay. You don't want him to have any lingering issues with the collarbone. But, man, I'm telling you, Trey Sermon, I would love him in the 4th round. I would love the Giants if they could get him. Perfect complement to Saquon Barkley. Definitely something we could use is depth at running back. Trey Sermon, no-brainer in the 4th round if he's there. First 6th round pick for the New York Giants, number 196. I have them taking Joshua Kaindoh, edge rusher out of Florida State. Joshua Kaindoh has a lot of upside. He's got great length and athleticism. He's got good size. He's 6'7", 265. He's quick off the snap. He plays at proper pad level. He keeps his feet moving. He's forceful off the edge and works with his hands throughout the action. Now, his entire career at Florida State, he's been pretty marginally productive, and he's been very inconsistent. So, you know, this is obviously a project, as most players are at this level in the draft. But Kaindoh was a favorite of a lot of scouts the past 3 years, and he's flashed a lot of ability and athleticism, but again, he never really elevated his game. Having excellent length and growth potential is something that I believe that the New York Giants coaching staff could turn Joshua Kaindoh into a very good situational pass rusher. And again, when you get to this level, you're just hoping maybe you find guys that can become good special teams player. But if you find a guy, the Giants did very good last year deep in the draft with Carter Coughlin, Cam Brown, and Tate Crowder. I mean, he found these guys in the 7th round. So you get a guy like Joshua Kaindoh here with a lot of tools and just not very polished. Obviously, that's the job for Patrick Graham, and the Giants have stressed they want to teach these kids. They want to teach them how to, become really good players. Joshua Kaindoh will be a really nice fit here at number 196 for the Giants. It's low risk, high reward. And again, with a guy like Patrick Graham, they can utilize Joshua Kaindoh's size and athleticism. And again, maybe he could become a pretty good situational pass rusher for the New York Giants. I like him at number 196 for the Giants. Giants' last pick in their draft, number 201, 6th round. I have them taking a linebacker, KJ Britt, out of Auburn, 6'3", 243 pounds. Very instinctive, disciplined linebacker with a terrific head for the ball. reads action, diagnoses plays before they unfold, and explodes upfield defending the run. A very good run defender for sure. He has good change of possession, possesses good change of direction skills, and efficiently takes proper angles to the action. He sells out defending the run, squares into ball handlers, and wraps up tackling. Obviously, those are really big things. You want the Giants, again, with all the blitzes that the Giants bring, and Patrick Graham doing a lot of things with the flexibility of the linebacking core and the secondary. KJ Britt could definitely be formed into a really good run stopper. He effectively quarterbacks the defense and gets his teammates into proper position. But again, this is something that you're looking for if you're the New York Giants. You want kids with good heads on them. You want smart kids that want to play. We heard that all last year about how smart they are, how much they, pick up the game really quick. KJ Britt is that kind of player. He doesn't really have a second gear. He plays the one speed. He doesn't really play well in pursuit. Can't really cut off the corners from ball handlers because, again, he just does not possess that flat-out speed to get outside of the corner. But he's a very hard-working linebacker, and he comes, like I said, with a great head on his shoulders. And I think that this is the type of player that the New York Giants could definitely mold into being an effective player late in the draft. KJ Britt, not a huge guy, 6'2", 243, and not a very fast guy. But again, he's very hardworking and he's very smart. Guys like that are who you want for New York Giants. You want hardworking guys. That's one thing I love about KJ Britt. He's like I said, he's very hardworking. He will definitely do everything that he can. You know that he's going to work hard in practice. You know that he's going to do everything that he can to pick up the playbook. You know that he's going to do whatever the coaches ask. And you know that he's going to do his best to learn the schemes. So I like KJ Britt at number 201. And that's really all I have for my first mock draft. So again, I always appreciate you guys and girls watching. And, I do plan on doing at least one more of these, maybe two, depending on, my time. But I always want to know your opinion. Let me know, is this mock draft good? Does it suck? What would you guys do? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Again, when we get towards the end of the draft, it's always hard. I mean, it's just crapshoots. You're just kind of going by whatever. But, I think that the Giants could definitely use these type of players. Again, Rashawn Slater, they're filling a lot of needs. I went pretty much all different positions here. Outside tackle, cornerback, wide receiver, running back, edge, and linebacker. I think that they're all things that the New York Giants need in this draft, and I think that in this mock draft, I've addressed all of their needs. So again, let me know what you think in the comments section, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you stay tuned for a second mock draft because I'll probably have that up within the next couple of days or so. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. It's Bad Diggity Dizzle, and I'm out. Peace!